I'm Jeff Rising. I'm the FBI National Security Supervisor, and I supervise the Delaware Joint Terrorism Task Force.
I'm Rashad. I'm a member of this community, Muslim community.
I'm Karen Turner. I work for Interfaith Community Housing of Delaware, and I live in West Tennessee.
My name is Ted Davis. I'm a professor at the University of Delaware, Department of International Relations.
Jim Baker, Mayor.
I'm Nathaniel teacher here at the Muslim Council on Islamic subjects.
Misbah Hussein. I live in the 19802 area, Wilmingtonian, nighttime Wilmingtonian. I'm also a member of the Masjid. I work at the port.
Bob Brigham from the U.S. Attorney's Office.
Charlie Early, United States Attorney for District of Delaware. I taught at Delaware for 30 years until I got this job and won't teach anywhere. And not the university, the federal government.
Eric Robertson, Councilman, 3rd District.
Welcome to all. Let me just establish what the Muslim Center is versus the Masjid. The Muslim Center of Wilmington is the non-profit 501c3 organization. The Masjid al-Kaaba is our religious body. So therefore we are structured based upon a separation of state, church and state concept. Although in the religion, there is no separation of church and state. But because we, in fact, provide services to everyone, regardless of race, creed, color, national origin, or religion, therefore we had to separate ourselves to provide these services. When everyone that's a member of our community comes to our community as a representative of a nation, we consider ourselves to be the home of a family of nations, not a family of colors, not a family of races, but a family of nations. And in that regard and with that respect, we consider ourselves to be operating similarly to the United Nations. So, if you will, we are the United Nations of the city of Wilmington. And as the United Nations, we come in contact with individuals from all over the world. They come to our city, they come to our state, and as a result, they come to our Muslim Center Masjid through various means. Some come, and I say Sheikh Mohammed is from Egypt, and he is a recent citizen. He just recently acquired his citizenship of the United States of America. So we welcome him to the family of citizens. Now, in the state of Delaware, as most of you know or may not know, there are more corporations, approximately 190,000 corporations that are chartered in the state of Delaware. They are considered artificial entities. There are more corporations than there are flesh and blood people. So this is why our state is called the corporate capital of the world. And unlike other masjids, those that come and frequent our Muslim Center are probably of a higher caliber educationally. We have scientists and doctors, professors at universities, et cetera, engineers of all types, and they're in these various occupations representing a vast array of nationalities. So our discussions are more international in focus rather than locally in focus. Now, the mayor and I, over the years, have had many discussions concerning the city of Wilmington and the problems facing the city of Wilmington. The mayor has said on many occasions that the stimulus money should have been given to the cities rather than to the states, because the cities are the source of a lot of our problems that we're experiencing in our state. Now, I'd like to read, Dr. Davis is here. We participated in his study, and I'd like to read his research problem. And it reads, inner city communities are plagued with the problems of crime, high unemployment, poor health care, inadequate educational opportunities, dilapidated housing, high infant mortality, and extreme poverty. Despite the commitment of resources and various initiatives designed to improve the quality of life in these communities, most have not met with much success building capacity and community development. For our purposes, capacity building was defined as efforts to increase the skills and competencies of the population with the goal of improving the community's quality of life. Community development was described as efforts to improve the social, political, and economic quality of life in a local area. The ability of a community to increase its capacity and develop is largely dependent on 4 factors. 1, effectiveness of leadership. 2, the success of the organizations that serve it. 3, triumphs of the community organizing efforts. And 4, the community's ability to collaborate and establish partnerships with institutions in the larger community. This project sought to understand of the foundation for capacity building and community development efforts in Wilmington's quote-unquote Black inner city communities. It achieved this goal by focusing on leaders as central players in shaping and setting the community's internal and external political agenda. The goal of this study was to determine the extent there is a measure of agreement. There is a measure of agreement or divisions in the attitudes and perceptions of quote-unquote Black community leaders regarding the various factors that influence capacity building and community development. Furthermore, the aim of this study was to contribute to our understanding of the political dynamics of Wilmington's quote-unquote Black inner city community and the implications for capacity building and economic development. Since we've agreed that this discussion is based around what is at law, and I had this discussion with Dr. Davis, that what in fact, at law, how do we define Black at law? Now, we believe that the Black community is in chaos. Now, chaos, and I borrowed from a gentleman, a book that I read often, is called The Essence of Chaos by Edward Lorenz. And in creating mathematical models to address certain problems, it is so important how we define terms that we use. And in this particular instance, and I hope we all can agree, Mr. Lorenz, Professor Lorenz, he uses chaos and he defines it in this way. He says chaos is an ancient word originally denoting a complete lack of form or systemic arrangement, but now often used to imply the absence of some kind of order that ought to be present. Notwithstanding its age, the familiar word is not close to its deathbed, and it has recently outdone many other common words by acquiring several related but distinct technical meanings. Chaos. Our community is in chaos, and it's suggested that the black community is in chaos. Now, how do we define the black community? The mayor and I have said that once upon a time, in the city of Wilmington, individuals were classified based upon being black, white, Puerto Rican. But now we all agree that in the city of Wilmington and in our nation, you might have 5, 6, 7 classifications of Hispanic, coming from Dominican Republic, Panama, and many Spanish-speaking areas. Now, what constitutes being white? Those that originally have designated and came from European types countries. And those that are being black are defined as those of us who are, in fact, the former slaves that received their freedom living in the inner cities of America. So as a result of that, we hear all the time that blacks make up the vast majority of high blood pressure, incarceration, and so this creates an inferiority complex in the minds of people who are designated as being black. Let me say this, give you an example. You're married at home with your children. The mother usually says, you need to talk to your son, okay? Well, what did he do? He must have did something because he's my son. Or, I'm so proud of my boy. Well, he must did something good because now he belongs to the mother. So this is how it is with the designation and characterization of being called black. Now, this is a report. This report here is called Race and Incarceration in Delaware, a report to the Delaware General Assembly, June 30th, 2011. And in this report,